Hey guys, Angus here again from Aussie Timber and Tinker. We got the Holzfforma up on the table, but before we get into that, as you may have noticed, I have a beautiful new table made by somebody I'm very grateful and happy to call a friend. He saw me, he's been watching my YouTube, and he saw that I was working on the old school desk, and he thought that I needed a new table, so he made me one, and it's really cool. I'll do a close-up shot a bit later on of it, but it's awesome. Once again, mate, I'm really appreciative of it. It's very cool. It does swivel. The top comes away from the base. It has a bolt in there to tighten up if you don't want it to move, or you don't want it to come out. But yeah, cheers again, mate. Really cool. So, Holzfforma, there's a lot out there about, the fact they're cheap and they're not the greatest quality and all that kind of stuff. And there's no point in me sitting here going, buy one, because it's completely up to you. It's up to you whether you're willing to work on it a little bit if it does break, or you're willing to accept the fact that it's going to leak a little bit of oil, or it's going to have some, minor issues and that. It is a bit, cheaper. I mean, it doesn't have too many problems. I haven't had many problems with mine. And personally, I think it's great. Mechanically, I've beaten this thing up. I've taken it out 35-degree day and just put it through some real thick iron bark. You've seen that. It's cheap. It's $300. It is what it is. It's Chinese. But if you don't have the money to go buy a legit Husqvarna, well, why not give it a go? I know money's tight and everything, but yeah, $300. I think it's great. I haven't had, like I said, any problems with it. There's slight minor running issues, like it not getting air in very well, and that's because of the top cap and the way everything's designed. It doesn't really pull air in. It also has limiters to stop you tuning, to get the most out of it. I don't believe you need to run the chainsaw right to the edge, lean it right out and get it screaming off its head. You're just going to kill your saw quicker. And I think they know that. They want to be good about it, so fair enough, whatever. We have done a top cap mod. I will get into that. We've just gone an inch. They call them a cabinet vent, so for like food cabinets and all that kind of stuff. And all I have done is put a sock behind it just to catch real fine stuff, because it is quite a big, it's got fairly big holes in it. And I've just gone straight in the middle with one. I didn't feel the need to go two with the size of it, and the fact that I'm not really, this thing's not ported yet. I am planning on that. I'll pull the camera up a bit closer. So I got the pull starter off, and I actually have to admit, for the price of the saw, I was, the top plastics are, a little bit crappy. But this, it actually is surprisingly good. I've pull started this thing a bunch of times. I mean, I hammer it. I'm a drop pull kind of guy, or a drop start. And that's still sharp. Yeah, you can see where it's been rubbing on the metal, on the hooks, over there on the flow, right under my finger. But everything's still very tight, and actually quite, it's very, surprisingly rigid. Like, I'm really giving that some berries, and yeah, it feels good. It has just the right amount of flex in it. It's not solid where you feel like it's going to crack if you do that. It's got some flex in it, which is nice. Whereas this here, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's very, very hard. I don't have any complaints, and I don't know. Yeah, I understand that people like Buck and Billy Ray and all them, they're professionals. You know, they don't want to mess with stuff like this where there might be some issues and that. They just want reliability to go out, do their job, finish up. That's it. They don't want to deal with, you know, broken pulleys and pull starters and leaking oil and all that stuff. So fair enough for the professionals, but the hobbyists like myself, it's not bad. It's just not. You can buy the parts you need and replace them for cheap. You can buy OEM parts if you're worried about it, and it all just bolts straight on. And it's, yeah, if you know how to do it, you can just do it yourself. That's what I find so great about this. I'm into motors and I'm into fixing stuff and working on stuff, and I'm comfortable doing that. Some people aren't, and I get that. Some people would rather just take it into a shop and get it fixed. And you know what? The local store wouldn't have a problem working on this because it's OEM parts. It just, you know, bolt on and away you go. So I think it's great. And like I said, we'll get some close-ups and I'll pull it apart and show you guys a bit more in depth about it. Right, so we're going to just take a bunch of this stuff off, just so you guys can sort of see around it. If you own a Husqvarna 372, you might be able to tell, you know, how close they've come to replicating it. Just got to keep an eye on time, guys, because I'm actually busy today. Well, this afternoon. It is currently 3:15. So I am in a bit of a rush to do some of this stuff. I love this table. Makes life so easy. Like I said, almost feels like I'm cheating. Now, personally, I haven't pulled anything off this saw yet, because I haven't needed to. I haven't bothered to pull any of the plastics off or the side covers or anything like that. So when I was talking about the limiters on Aussie Bucking's channel, when I first showed this saw on YouTube, I was saying that it felt as if it had a limiter, and it does. It has the springs to hold tension on the tuning screws to stop it from, you know, going rich lean by itself. And I believe what's happening is when you turn it all the way in to try and lean it out more, it's bottoming out on that spring and it's not allowing it to go any further. It also could have a seat on the inside that's stopping it from bottoming out. But it's actually not a bad cast. I'm sort of surprised. I might just bring you guys in here and just give you guys a close-up, because this actually doesn't look half bad. So let's get up on this casting here. If you can, I've seen castings on cheap motors, especially like Chinese Honda knockoffs. That is not a bad casting at all. When you think about the fact they don't have similar standards of quality. Sorry, my hands are very shaky today. Yeah, look at that. That's a very clean casting. If any of you guys know anything about casting, you can see where I've belted the crap out of this motor a few times. I have dropped it a few times by accident, just belted the crap out of it because I'm mean, and it does need a clean. So yeah, you can see these springs here. I believe that is what it's bottoming out on when you tighten them in the screws. But otherwise, everything else seems, you know, rubber still seems supple, and like I said, I've heated this thing up a fair few times. Having a bigger table has been so much nicer. I'm going to get... So, I have put a rag under it because, like I said, it is leaking oil. Once again, thank you to Chris. Great table. Loving it. It has been way nicer to work on something to be bigger and have the space. What is it with me and over tightening stuff? Jesus Christ. Right, I don't have a screwdriver at the moment, but you can see, maybe, I don't know if you guys can, there is a considerable amount of oil in here. So I don't think that it's leaking out of here per se. I think it's leaking out from behind here where the oiler is. And we'll just get that bearing out of there. The bearing looks really good. Not bad. What's the clutch like? Clutch looks really good considering I heated the absolute crap out of this thing just recently. Yes, right, so it does actually look like it's leaking out of the oiler from back here. It could be the pipe and it's just leaking out from behind here and then down. That's a possibility. I'll have to take the clutch off to actually check that out, but I do not have a clutch puller at the moment, so that won't be happening. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty good considering. 3-spring clutch, it grips, no problem. I haven't had any problems with that at all. $300 and it just... So I would not be as far as saying that I would more than happily keep running this clutch. It's leaked oil since I got it. That's just, like I said, part of the thing. It's cheap, but that's okay. For $300 I've cut more than $300 worth of firewood. I haven't had any mechanical mishaps. Nothing's let go or broken or anything like that. Massive shout out to Aussie Bucking. Thank you guys for the shout out. That's awesome. I wasn't expecting it, and yeah, just really appreciate it. That's cool as. So once again, Holzfforma, I'm happy. Cheers.